Hello, my dearest confidant. Walking around doing my little perimeter check, and something happened this morning. Two things happened this morning where I tried to be helpful, and it didn't go as I thought it should or wanted it to, right? My intention was to be there and be helpful. Anyways, not important. I was thinking about how I always overthink. And, hopefully this is helpful to you too, but I realize that I'm an overthinker because I've been asked and told to not be as opinionated or loud or aggressive or questioning of people, right? Of their intentions. It's quieted my natural curiosity of situations and trying to, seeking to understand. And I realize that I overthink because I'm not allowed to speak my mind. I haven't been afforded the opportunity to speak my mind, because you always have the choice, right? But I didn't realize that I still had a choice after someone told me, I don't want to hear that, and then to take that to somewhere where it could be heard and validated, or spoken about in a way that would help me to have further understanding of the situation. I've been surrounded, and I've surrounded myself with people that are dominant in personality and not wanting to be questioned, and alpha types, if you will. And that goes from my childhood all the way up through my military career, right? People in positions of power don't always use their power in a way that is beneficial to the whole, right? Sometimes they use it for their own personal good, or just to finally be in control of something for once, right? And so I stopped here because it's kind of loud over there. And it made me think, like, all these times where I'm going through and I've quieted myself, or I've said something that I know is going to be perceived as controversial or met with resistance. And I realize that happens to me because I shouldn't have to be quiet. I shouldn't not have questions. That's part of the issue that we have today, is that so many people have been silenced and their natural curiosity has been questioned, or not even questioned, just again, silenced, and so now we're in this age where people are starting to understand that it's okay to question. It's actually encouraged. We're starting to break out of those cultural norms of, religious teachings that have kept us indoctrinated for so long about don't ask questions, because, asking questions leads to answers. And I don't want you to have the answers. I want you to believe what I believe. I want you to be under my thumb, and whether that's conscious or subconsciously, people are still doing it. And I've realized that I've let myself be gaslighted for too long. Because they'll not just say, oh, don't worry about that. But they'll say, hey, look over here, focus over here instead. Not to get political, but Trump did it all the time. And I am not for or against Trump. I'm just making a, for instance, an example out of that. And so, there are some times where misdirection can be a good thing, because it can lead you out of this downward spiral of rage and frustration and anarchy. But then there's times where questioning is actually okay, and questioning should be encouraged. And instead, it has been downplayed and seen as something evil or, a threat. But if you really have true intentions and pure intentions in your heart, it shouldn't feel like a threat. It should feel like communication. It should feel like guidance. It should feel like home. And so if you're the person that's the overthinker, I ask you to ask yourself if you're overthinking because you're not allowed to ask the questions that you're naturally inclined to. So I tend to overthink, especially if I have to have a hard conversation or if I put myself out there with someone and things don't go well. So, I'm one of those people that thinks about all the things they should have said and how did this person take this and should I have done this more tactly and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, had a rough day, had a rough night. But then I remembered that I forgot to protect my energy before I engaged in the conversation. I knew that I was going to engage. It was something I didn't have to engage in, but it was something I felt passionate about, and I forgot to protect my energy. And so this morning, I remembered, and I always come out and do grounding in the morning, bare feet on the earth, and release all the positively charged ions back to the earth, take some deep breaths. And so I thought a mantra might be warranted. And this was helpful for me. I feel a lot better, and I'll return to this anytime that those thoughts start to come back up. So, not a mantra per se, but just words that I say to help me feel better and to help to release that energy. And you don't have to have your feet on the ground in order to say this. I cut the energetic cord that is connecting me to this situation. I lovingly send their energy back to them with peace and balance. And I lovingly collect my energy back to me and I bring it into balance within myself. I am at peace and I am safe. And I will no longer allow the energy from this situation to permeate my field. I love you, my dearest confidant. Until next time.